Welcome to the Metals Investment Forum. Today we have Craig Parry, Executive Chairman of Vizsla Copper. Welcome, Craig.
Chen, good to be with you again.
Oh, great. The Vizsla Copper is a new story. I heard you just got a recent IPO. Tell us about that.
Yep, we did. Actually, we put out some drill results last week, which we're very excited about. On our Woodjam property in central British Columbia, we hit 66 metres at nearly 1% copper, including, and that was within a zone of 300 metres at 0.6% copper equivalent. So it's going very, very well. We launched that campaign, drill campaign about 6 weeks ago. We've now completed 18 drill holes. That's about 8,000 metres of drilling. Still waiting on the rest of the assays to come back. We've had 3 holes back so far. I was up at site 3 weeks ago and saw a lot of that core. And it's very juicy looking core. So I'm pretty excited to get those results back and see what happens over the next couple of weeks. We should have news releases coming out really for the next 2 months. Oh. And, fingers crossed for some really splashy numbers out of there. And certainly the core looks really good. Sort of a lot of chalcopyrite.
Wow, good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the history of the project and how do you get it? Maybe a little bit about the copper.
Sure.
Well.
So it's a massive project area. We've got over 80,000 hectares now. So it's sort of 30 kilometres by 30 kilometres in dimension. Sits right south of the Mount Polly mine. Our property boundary goes to within 10 kilometres of Mount Polly pit, and of course that's been a big long-term producer for imperial metals. We've got some very, very good grade drill holes there, and of course British Columbia gets a little bit of a bad rap as having low grade porphyries, but that's not what we're seeing, and we certainly know other projects like New Afton. It's about 100 million tonnes at 1.2% copper equivalent. So we know it's out there. And certainly some of the drill results on our property suggest that we could have a larger high-grade system. We've just got to work to understand that. We acquired the project off Consolidated Woodjam. Prior to that, Goldfields were earning into it. It was one of their top 2 global exploration projects up until 2013. Then they cut their exploration spend back to zero globally, dropped the project. They own 7% of the company. They're a supportive shareholder, so that's good news. Everyone's watching carefully with what we've got. For investors, importantly, when we acquired the project, it already had 2 billion pounds of copper in the resource, and about 1 million ounces of gold. I think this drill program, we've really grown that quite significantly. So we'll be putting out very good news over the next few months, and then looking to upgrade that resource and release a new resource statement early next year. Probably not where that won't be the end of the story in a way. One of the properties there, or one of the projects, Deerhorn, has a resource on it of about 32 million tonnes at 0.7% copper equivalent. What I'd like to see now that we're getting, the last 15 drill holes that were drilled over the last 11 years, unfortunately, the previous owners couldn't raise the capital to really test the thesis. But they drilled some spectacular drill holes, 110 metres at about 3% copper equivalent. That's not in that resource base at the moment. So I'm confident that we'll be able to build up a resource inventory across the project of north of 50 million tonnes and potentially 100 million tonnes at closer to 1% copper. If we can do that, then we've got a project that we'll build, and I'd love to be building British Columbia's next serious copper producer. So excited about all of that. We continue to look around the world for other copper projects. As you know, I'm a copper super bull. I think we're going to see $20 or $30 a pound copper in the not too distant future. A bit of weakness in the market around data coming out of China, threat of a recession. But I think over the next couple of years, we're a strong chance of seeing $10 a pound and more. So you must have copper. And the market doesn't give you much time to get in. You can see what happened with uranium here in the past month. You had to be set well ahead of the uranium price rising because prices jumped so quickly. So I encourage investors to really take a look around at the copper space, the base metal space generally, and get in and get positioned now. So and Vizsla Copper, VCU's the ticker. We trade on the TSXV. I think that's a perfect leverage play to the copper price. Plus, we've got great drill results coming out of the ground as we speak.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Yeah, the copper story has been a very interesting one because there is so much demand from all the different sectors. Just one area I was watching closely was solar panel. By the International Energy Agency, the solar panel will take 2% of worldwide copper to 10% in a few years. So that's just one area. You can see those kind of dramatic growth of the copper demand from all the different areas.
That's a great data point, because of course it's the most important metal to society, really. We're surrounded by it in this room and all of this equipment. So you need it for every aspect of your life. And of course there's emerging technology, for surfacing in hospitals and the like, because it's a natural inhibitor. So it's a fantastic metal. It's interesting, people sort of grill me, how could you say that copper's going to $20 a pound? But if you look back at the last cycle, when I started at Rio Tinto, working for Rio Tinto in 1999, the copper price was 71 cents a pound.
I remember, 70 cents forever.
Yep, and of course, so we saw a 30% increase in metal demand, and that 30% increase was enough to drive the copper price from 70 cents to $4.60. And that was, it was the driver there was a big factor, but a largely localised factor in the urbanisation of a good chunk of the Chinese population. This time round, we're talking about a global phenomena that's going to drive copper production, copper demand from somewhere around 21 million tonnes a year, all the way up to about 28, 29 million tonnes a year. So again, we're seeing over the next 5 to 10 years, the emergence of a 30% increase in demand. That's offset against a supply backdrop that's fundamentally challenged. There's no way we can keep up with that. So, and you end up with spikes in metal prices. You've seen what's happened with lithium. Lithium prices have gone up 20 times. The uranium price in the past has gone up over 20 times, or 10 times, the last cycle. I think we're going to see the same thing in copper over the next 5 years. It's going to be an extraordinary time. We're putting our foot, drilling as much copper as we can and putting our foot on as much copper as we can for our shareholders as we speak.
Yeah, I heard copper is a critical metal right now in the United States. How about it's the same in Canada?
It's the same in Canada, and indeed, fantastic to see the US declaring copper as a critical metal. They're starting to get it. They've been a bit slow on that front. Canada certainly, and of course you get great tax breaks for exploration in Canada. So, I invest personally in a lot of flow through shares and stock in my own companies because it's such an advantageous way to play the market and invest in our companies. So that's a great thing. And interestingly enough, Chen, Europe is really ramping up its investment in metals and mining. I think the EU has now stated that they want to see 20% of their metal use come from within the European Union. Dramatic shift in their attitude to mining, starting to realise, well, hey, we've got to take this on ourselves if we're to operate sustainably and meet their ESG principles. So fantastic to see. I think very, very happy to see that sort of dialogue started up. And what it means is that mining is no longer a dirty word. Oil and gas? Yep, certainly. And so, copper is the most critical element in this green revolution that we're seeing.
I believe copper is a great future as one of the metals really need for the human race for the next decades to come. So, absolutely. And Vizsla seems to be in the right time and the right location. And you have a lot of results coming out. I will look forward to your results in the next few weeks.
Yep, no, thank you. I'm excited for what we've got. So keep an eye on that. Vizsla copper and Vizsla silver.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you.
Good stuff. Thanks.
Good luck.